Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. And today we got a very simple one. This one is 5 missing people who eventually turned up alive, part 3. Now I did part 1 and 2. I did 1 in 2021. I did a second part this year. I thought I've done the third one. Apparently I have not. So we're going to do the third part now. And it's the only other part of this we gotta do. So ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Comment your link down below. Let's go.
Five missing people who turned up alive, part 3. In this video, Fact Faction takes a look at 5 more people who were once missing but eventually turned up alive. This list features a dementia sufferer, prolonged periods of captivity, and some welcome happy endings.
Of course, I know the case of Elizabeth Smart. We all do. So this is going to be an interesting case to hear about. We'll see what... I'm going to assume they'll give the details that either I won't know or just fun details to know about. It's just good that these stories, because we hear so many stories, right, of so many unsolved, missing people, disappearances, stuff like that. It's good to hear videos like these, where the people are found, and they're safe.
On June 4th, 2002, 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart went to bed as usual in the home that she shared with her parents and 5 siblings in Salt Lake City, Utah. In the early hours of the following morning, she was kidnapped by a man who illegally entered her home. She shared the room with her 9-year-old sister, Mary Catherine, who disturbingly heard the entire scene unfold while she pretended to be asleep. Too scared to intervene, she was left to listen fearfully as she watched her sister get dragged away. In a statement which eerily described the crime, Mary Catherine told reporters that the kidnapper, though armed with a knife, was softly spoken, well-dressed, methodical, and even polite. When Mary Catherine deemed it safe to leave her bed, she told her parents what had happened. They initially believed that she was having a nightmare and searched the home for their daughter. Mary Catherine insisted, telling them, "You're not going to find her. A man came and took her. He had a knife." After realizing the truth, the family contacted the police and a hunt for the kidnapper began, with a bounty set at $250,000. For 4 months, all searches led to false starts. In October, Mary Catherine claimed that the voice she had heard during the kidnapping was familiar to her. The Smart family had a reputation for helping.
I swear I feel like I've reacted to this before, but I looked it up so I haven't. But I swear I've heard this before. I've heard this thing before. So I must have watched this before without realizing it. Because this sounds so familiar, hearing her talk and hearing... This sounds very familiar. I don't get it.
Unemployed people by kindly allowing them to work on jobs at their home. One of these...
That's good but bad. I mean, shouldn't have... You never know who's could be there, so I don't know if I'd have some just random people working in my home that aren't trained to work there.
Man, known to the family as Emmanuel.
Oh, look at him. Tell me he'll as someone who would be insane. He is insane. Look at him. He is insane. Tell me he ain't, and I'll call you a liar.
Allegedly sounded just like the man who had taken Elizabeth. Police released an e-fit of this man to the public. Shortly after the release of the sketch, police were contacted by a Mitchell family who claimed that this man was a member of their family, Brian David Mitchell. After a hunt began, he was found traveling with Elizabeth Smart, who was disguised in a gray wig, sunglasses, and a veil. He was also accompanied by his wife, Wanda Barzee. Officers questioned the group and recognized Elizabeth. She had been with the pair for 9 months. Both Mitchell and Barzee were subsequently arrested. During trials, Mitchell exhibited strange behavior, with many professionals claiming that he was unable to stand trial due to psychosis and other issues. During one hearing, he screamed at a judge, compelling him to, quote, "forsake those robes and kneel in the dust."
My man is crazy and uses religion as his tool to be crazy. That's what goes on here. My man is complete and utter crazy. And when you can't deal with crazy. You can't stop crazy. You can't, as hard as you want to. as much as you want to, you can't just stop crazy. Crazy people just be crazy. You can't do anything about it. You can't no matter how much you try to, the crazy people just somehow crazy. And the crazy people usually make you crazy. It's just, when they get crazy, you just need to give them help. Just gotta do.
Many of his claims and behaviors were related to his Christian religious fanaticism, which he would often preach about on the street throughout his life. After her release, Elizabeth revealed many disturbing details about her treatment. In line with his odd beliefs, Mitchell would write his own scripture and ask Elizabeth to read it aloud. He would also pray for the two to have sex before raping her, sometimes numerous times a day during the entire 9-month period. Mitchell himself believed he was the chosen soldier to fight the Antichrist. For months, Elizabeth was kept in the woods near Salt Lake City and repeatedly molested, assaulted, and treated like a slave. On the day of her kidnapping, Elizabeth was forced to undergo a makeshift wedding ceremony, becoming what Mitchell believed to be his second wife. He allegedly hoped to gather a total of 7 wives throughout his life. Around 6 weeks after her kidnapping, in a conversation with Mitchell, Elizabeth mentioned her 15-year-old cousin. Mitchell later attempted to break into the cousin's home in order to kidnap her. He failed to do so.
Okay. Why on earth would you mention your 15-year-old to this crazy man? This guy's clearly not sane. Clearly not normal. Why would you mention anyone who claims if he's willing to kidnap people? What? I mean, you're 15 and you're gonna do anything to try to relate and get close and comfortable to the guy. So I guess you're assuming anything. You kind of don't know how to be cautiously saying things around him. So I can't get mad at her, but just God, the fact he tried to kidnap the 15-year-old too, like that's insane.
Elizabeth was often left chained to a tree for days without food. For the majority of her ordeal, she lived with her kidnappers in the woods. At one point during the 9 months, she could hear her.
This guy plays the role freaking perfectly. I don't know who this is. But this guy plays the role perfectly. Visually, I mean.
Her uncle calling out in one of his many routine searches. Terrified that Mitchell would harm her family as he'd so often claimed, she was too scared to shout for his attention. She would habitually avoid shouting for help, terrified of the consequences for her family. On the rare occasions they would go elsewhere, Elizabeth was made to wear a headscarf. During one of these outings in a city library, an officer who suspected that the scarfed girl was Elizabeth approached Mitchell. Mitchell managed to convince the officer that she was, in fact, his daughter. In November 2009, Wanda Barzee was sentenced to 15 years for her role in the kidnapping. Brian David Mitchell was handed a sentence of life without parole.
Okay, so here's my thing, right? If I saw a woman covered like that, and I knew what Elizabeth Smart looks like, even if he says that's my daughter, I'm gonna say I'm gonna need her to see her face. You'd have to. Just to know it's not her. Because if it is his daughter, who cares, right? She just puts it, thing shows her face, and then that's it. The fact the officer just went with it, I would have to see it. I'd have to see her face to know it's not her. And because he would be not willing to do that, would make me suspicious and stuff would go down. But people are more convinced than I am.
Elizabeth is now happily married with 2 children of her own and often speaks publicly about her ordeal.
Is it Elizabeth or someone else I'm thinking of that when found, she still kept the story that the guy presented to her? I know one person did this. It was a kidnapped person, and when they were found, they were with they continued the story that the guy had like manipulated her brain. Thought it was Elizabeth. Might have been someone else, but I can't think of who I'm thinking of.
Adopted at 4 years old after being placed in an orphanage at the age of 6 months, Steve Carter saw no need to hunt for his biological parents. But when he found a picture on a missing children's website, he was shocked by what he found. An estimated composite image of a missing child looked a lot like him. This person, named Marks Panama Moriarty Barnes, had been missing for 34 years. But now he was found, and he had found himself.
That's insane! So this guy found himself on a missing persons list and solved his own disappearance that he didn't know existed. He didn't know he disappeared. He was taken at a young age, like 6 months old. He had no knowledge that he is even gone. That is crazy. That is literally crazy. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the thought process if you found yourself on a missing persons thing? You wouldn't be able to think straight. How do you think after that? You wouldn't be able to... My brain would be flabbergasted. I'd question everything in my life. I'd question everything, every person, everything. My life, I wouldn't be able to think straight.
After digging deeper, Steve discovered that he was, in fact, Marks himself, and had been kidnapped by his own biological mother at only 6 months old. She claimed to be heading to the store but never returned. A sufferer of mental illness, this is the second time she had disappeared with her son. The first time, she returned after a while. On the second occasion, after 3 weeks, Steve's biological father filed a missing persons report to no avail. He also searched the island of Hawaii where the three lived, but could not find his missing son. Unknown to Steve's father, Steve's mother had taken their child to a stranger's home. When authorities finally intervened, Steve was placed into care in a home only 50 kilometers from where he had lived with his parents. His mother was institutionalized in a psychiatric hospital.
Wait a minute, hold on. So they caught the mother and never told the father that he was fat. What? What? Hold on, I need to go back. I need to make sure I heard this right.
The three lived, but could not find his missing son. Unknown to Steve's father, Steve's mother had taken their child to a stranger's home. When authorities finally intervened, Steve was placed into care in a...
Why, when Steve was intervened, when the authorities, did you not take the missing person back to his father? Did I miss something here? I'm confused how you wouldn't know how you wouldn't know that's the missing boy. I don't know how you wouldn't know that. I feel like there's on authorities' end too. I don't know what happened here. Something went wrong here. Something went awry.
Home only 50 kilometers from where he had lived with his parents. His mother was institutionalized in a psychiatric hospital. She disappeared a few days later and has not been seen since. Although Steve lived a happy and comfortable life with his adopted parents, he claims that some details always aroused suspicion, including the fact that his birth certificate was created when he was aged 1 year old. After a DNA test confirming his identity, Steve called his older half-sister. She admitted that she assumed her brother to be dead. Despite this,
as you would, right? Like, as you would. Her mother is has psychiatric problems and was sent to an institution. No one knows where she is, and he's gone and no one knows where he is. I mean, you would assume that she took his life.
She had optimistically encouraged police to continue the search, which led to them posting images online. Steve then found one of these images. Had it not been for her insistence, Steve Carter would still be ignorant of his true identity.
Now I'm going to assume that he doesn't have any ill will towards the people who raised him, because he didn't they didn't, because he was adopted, right? So I'm going to assume the people who raised him after he was adopted, probably, like I say, raised a happy life and raised a good life. I don't think they were aware of what happened. Like, they probably did not, didn't know. They probably as shocked as he was. So I don't think he has any ill will towards them. I think he just was a really messed up, just a very messed up situation, unfortunately.
On June 10th, 1991, 11-year-old J.C. Dugard was kidnapped while walking home from school. Snatched from just outside her home in South Lake Tahoe, California, she spent 18 years in captivity, renamed Alyssa, and held in a backyard shack at the rear of
18 years in captivity? This might be the girl I'm thinking of then. This might be the girl I'm thinking of. Not Elizabeth Smart, it might be this girl. Maybe.
Her captor's home. Her captors were Philip Garrido, a convicted rapist, and his wife, Nancy. They had transported her
Hold on, you're telling me that when they were looking, they never looked at the convicted rapist to see if he had her? Is that what you're telling me right now?
almost 200 kilometers to their home in San Francisco.
That's why. Okay. That explains a bit more. Because I was thinking, I was like, hold on, if there was a convicted rapist in my neighborhood of a missing girl, you better believe I'm kicking down his door and looking through every single nook and cranny of it. Even if he tells me not to, I'm going to tell him I'm going to look, and if he doesn't like it, he can have a problem. And I'll wait for him to stop me. I'm going to look right nook and cranny, every little shed, every little department, every little anything. I'll be looking. You're in San Francisco, however. They ain't gonna look for the missing. They ain't gonna be banging down his door because he's in San Francisco and thinking I'm in a different area of California. So, 200 miles away.
In her almost 2 decades of captivity, JC was repeatedly raped and tortured. Immediately after kidnapping her, Garrido forced Dugard to take a shower with him. She was wearing handcuffs, which she continued to wear for her first week with the pair. Garrido later explained to Dugard that demon angels had permitted him to take her and that she was there to help with his sexual problems. He claimed to be a servant of God. He also kept a religious blog and insisted that he was able to control sound with his mind.
Okay, that part is stupid. The rest of this was like a guy who clearly has some mental issues. And this is still a guy who has mental issues, right? Saying that. But the line of he can control sound with his mind is probably the stupidest thing that I've heard. That was pretty stupid. But I don't like the mental issues you have to have. Mental issues both of them have to have. Him and his wife, in order to do this for 18 fucking years. That's how that's fucked up. That's messed up. Yeah. The guy's fucked up. The guy can burn in hell, pretty much. That's the end of it. The guy can burn in hell.
Mind. During methamphetamine binges, Garrido would make JC attempt to listen to the voices he could hear in his head. He would dress JC.
God, that must be a weird situation. God, that would be very weird. That must be weird. You're in a shed handcuffed and he tries to make you listen to the voices in his own head? Now, that would be very weird. He's clearly on some God, that must be messed up. That must be so uncomfortably awkward to be in.
Up and make her cut images out of pornographic magazines. Garrido and his wife, on 2 occasions, gave kittens to JC, which then disappeared without explanation. JC was also not permitted to write or say her name during the majority of her ordeal. Around 3 years into her captivity, JC was freed from her handcuffs, but continued to be kept in a bolted room. She was informed that she may be pregnant. She gave birth to 1 child at the age of 14 and another at the age of 17. Both were the result of Garrido's repeated rapes. Garrido instructed JC to tell her daughters that they were, in fact, her younger siblings, and all three were to refer to Nancy as their mother. JC kept herself busy during the rest of her captivity by caring for her daughters. Though their living quarters changed throughout the years, they spent most of their time living in an area in the backyard, consisting of sheds, tents, and a high fence. One of these sheds was soundproofed and used by Garrido to write, sing, and record religious songs and romantic country tracks. In August 2000,
I bet the guy sounds like I don't know, maybe my man sounds like a star. Maybe my man makes romance country tracks sound like a freaking hip-hopping tune. Who knows? Might have the voice of an angel. I doubt it, but you never know. I wonder what his music sounds like. Can anyone find, is there any of it online? Does he ever do anything? They ever upload his music just to show you how shit it is? Because I bet I would love to hear his shitty ass music. Charles Manson's another one I love to hear the shitty music of.
2009, over 18 years after kidnapping JC, Garrido visited an FBI office with a 4-page essay claiming he had unlocked the secrets to helping people who were tempted by sex crimes. On the same day, he visited a University of California office, accompanied by JC's 2 daughters. He requested to hold a special religious event about his findings. Their suspicion arose, and police got involved before
So, this guy's need to spotlight himself got himself caught. This guy's need to go to the university spewing his religious bullshit got him caught. Because they heard him. First he went to an FBI office. FBI office. Spewing his shit. Then they went to this university, one whole religious event about his bullshit. And at the end of it, they were just like, nah, this guy's weird. This man has his 2 children. There's something not right about this guy. Police, you need to look into him. There's something weird about him. And the FBI was like, yeah, he killed up here too. We're gonna look into this guy. This guy's some weird shitting bastard.
discovering JC and her daughters. When first questioned, JC claimed to be on the run from a fictional husband, claiming that
this is who I'm thinking of. Yep, so she stick to the story that this guy had been in her brain to defend, as his way to defend him, and she had protected him, and she had all that. It's not like it kept her from being, to like keep her there. She was so just brainwashed for 18 years. Of course she could be brainwashed by this guy at the end of it.
Garrido was her savior. She maintained her false identity as Alyssa, telling officers that Garrido was a, quote, changed man, in spite of his previous sex offense convictions. She also told officers that Garrido was, quote, good with her kids. After further questioning, the truth became apparent. After his arrest, Garrido has continued to insist that he is a changed man, writing many documents relating to the rehabilitation of schizophrenics, claiming that his previous actions were disgusting. He told reporters that the rescue of JC is a, quote, powerful, heartwarming story. Both
My man's insane. My man's actually insane. He is the definition of insane. He has to be the definition of insane. Like, nothing about this guy makes any form of sense. This guy has no normal sense in his head at all. None.
Nancy and Philip Garrido were sentenced to life in prison. JC continues to raise her daughters, who, so indoctrinated by their entrapment, cried when they heard of their father's arrest. JC and her story have been the subject of many documentaries.
Well, in fairness, right? They are her father. He is their father. Now, it's fucked up how he became their father because of what he did to her. But at the end of the day, he is their father. So, it's not like it's a lie that they were told. When it came to the father and the guy, at least. But yeah, I could not honestly imagine being one of those kids, knowing you have that guy as a dad, and knowing what your actual mother went through all those times. God. I wouldn't know how to live. I wouldn't know how to think. I wouldn't know how to do anything. I need some counsel. I need therapy if I was them.
And 2 autobiographies.
Weirdly, JC's one of those people I would love to interview. Love to interview her.
When 9-year-old Gregory
Now, I bet she probably does not talk to anyone. I don't know how much often she talks to people. I have a feeling she probably doesn't talk to many people. Nor should she. She shouldn't have to go through her ordeal to people and explain it. So, I know I'll never interview her, but I just would love to hear mentally.
Gene Jr. visited his Atlanta-based father in 2010. He never returned. His mother declared him missing, but Child Services were unsure of where to look. They did not inform
Where the father is. That's where you look. You stupid fucks. What do you mean you don't know where to look? You look where the father is. You find the father, you look for the father, that's where he is. Is this so hard to figure? Am I the one that is easily figured out? They'd be like, where to look? Where's your father? Where's the father? Do you know where the father is? Yeah, he's right there. How about this dress? Okay, go look for there. There you go. How's a start? There's your start. I'll find your start point. Go there first. Dumbass.
police of the disappearance. The mother, too, refused to notify police, seemingly because she was afraid to do so. Believed to be an immigrant from Haiti, she may have been fearing potential deportation in the event of contacting police.
Why do I keep clicking that button? God damn it. I'm sorry, y'all. I keep clicking this fucking button that makes it the screen lower. I don't know why I keep doing that. I hate it. As I was gonna say, the fact that the woman, I have an issue with the mother for that reason. Just that reason. Because to me, even if I am, the possibility of deportation is there, I would take the risk knowing my child's gone. And no one knows where it is. I would take that risk. The fact you weren't willing to take that risk, you just were focused on yourself possibly being deported, annoys me with the mother. Now, she's fucking safe compared to his father and stepmother. They're fucking evil as shit. So they're the fucking thing. The moms are safe compared to them, but like, so fucking. Oh, that. Oh my god, maybe my body's turned against me after I fucking said that. Maybe my body's starting to feel weird after I said the thing about the mom. Maybe my body's turning on me. Body's like, you need to shut up. Stop insulting the mother here. Mother's fine.
Gregory was later discovered, hidden behind a false wall in a cupboard of the home he'd come to visit 4 years earlier. For the entire duration, he had been held captive by his father and stepmother and treated like a slave. He was forced to clean the house and the yard and was routinely beaten with a stick. Though his initial treatment was not too shocking, the situation progressively became worse. The pair allegedly kept Gregory in order to avoid having to pay child support.
I buy that. Bunch of selfish, cheap fucks. Okay, here's my question though. Why are you angry at the child for? Why are you punishing the child because you have to pay the child does not decide if you pay child support. He has nothing to do. Gregory has nothing to do with that. Like, if you don't want to pay, you don't want to send him back to go figure a thing. Just keep him. Be like, hey, you're not going back to thing. I ain't paying child support. Do whatever the heck you want here. You're staying here. I ain't gonna be mean to you or anything, but you're staying here. You ain't going back there. Just say that. You know, it's still mean, but at least at the end of the day, you're not abusing the damn kid. You're just like, I ain't getting them back here, but you don't need to punish the damn kid for existing because you have to pay child support. Because I hate to break to you, he doesn't decide if you pay child support. That's a thing called a judge that does that. Sometimes this thing's insane. I understand. Listen, I've seen some cases of child support things that are just goddamn insane. But like, Gregory has nothing to do with it.
Aged 13 upon his discovery, he told reporters, quote, "Any little thing and I would get a whooping. My stepmother made me write out words from the dictionary in a school book every morning, and if I did not finish the words before 8:45, I would not get any food for breakfast, and if I had not finished by 12, I would not get anything to eat for lunch." Gregory was forced to sleep in the garage with only a thin blanket while his step-siblings enjoyed a normal and comfortable life inside the family home. He was also banned from celebrating Christmas as a punishment for talking.
That's insane! That is fucking insane. He was thrown downstairs. That made me very angry. That made me so mad. I saw this part. He was thrown down the stairs, lost it. I was annoyedly just befuddled by got banned from Christmas for talking. Like, that's just ridiculous. Also, this part did help. Police see government who fired a car killing dog. I hate things happening to animals, especially dogs. I am a dog person. I'm about to get in a dog in around Christmas time, and I just like, oh, this made me so mad. Made me so damn mad. So damn mad.
Starved, beaten, and humiliated, and often forced to use a bucket as a toilet. Allegedly, the family would often watch him defecate. On another occasion, he was stripped naked and forced to wear a diaper. He claims to have cried almost every night, but kept faith that he would be rescued by his mother. Gregory managed to save himself by sending a Facebook friend request to his mom, which alerted her to his whereabouts.
I'll admit, that was smart. That was smart. That's smart move by a kid. I don't know why the heck. I'm surprised they let him have Wi-Fi to do it and a phone. But he sent a Facebook request to Mom, explaining where he was, and helped get him found. Freaking bravo! Smart move by Gregory.
Was then able to call his mother, who contacted police. Gregory's father and stepmother were charged with child cruelty and false imprisonment, but Gregory begged for mercy on their behalf, telling reporters, "I just want to be free to live my life and let them live theirs."
That man has more respect than Gregory. I have utmost respect for you. I have real respect for you, Gregory, because I would not be that nice. Gregory Jr., I have way more respect for you. And you have way more pride than I'd have. I want to see them two rot in hell. I would want them to rot in prison where they belong. But you have them. My man just sat there. He just said he doesn't want them to suffer. He just wants them to live their lives and let him live his. He ain't gonna talk to them no more. They ain't gonna talk to him. Very simple process. He had mercy on them. He's way better of a person than I am. He's better 13 than I am in my 20s, I'll tell you that.
Gregory is now happily living with his mother once again. when 73-year-old Robert Mcdonough went missing from his Maine home in May of 2013. Searches began almost immediately. The man, who suffers from dementia, could not be located in searches of the nearby woods, which included sniffer dogs and an infrared helicopter.
Dementia people disappearing is scary as shit, because they literally don't know where they are. They don't remember. They don't know where they are. So it is so hard, so crucial to find them. But it's so hard to do because they just wander. And they don't know where they are or where they're going. And it's fucking terrifying if you're a family member of them.
14 hours later, a news team were ready to report upon his disappearance in the hope that members of the public might be able to help. Just before filming began, a man casually approached the crew with his hands in his pockets. Unbelievably, this man was Robert himself. He began to talk with reporters, confirming his identity.
So wait, Robert just found his way back. Literally. Found his way, or saw the news cameras, walked up to the news crew, just went, hey. Bobby said who he was, said he was missing. They're like, oh my god, we were just about to go live, and he's here. They don't know, he found him. He found us. We didn't find him, he found us.
Identity.
We won't. How are you? Yeah.
In the video, he tells officers that he is not hurt and instead feels safe and well. It is believed that he wandered into the woods and got lost before finally returning the next day. Robert has no memory of why he left his home or where he slept. A member of his family said they are considering giving him a GPS tracker in order to find him if he ever walks off again. Authorities claim they were confident of finding him eventually, though Robert himself saved them from having to do so.
Well, sometimes timing is everything, Aaron and Shannon, and good news and a happy ending right now. The gentleman behind us you're looking at, that is Robert Mcdonough. We were doing our last live shot at the bottom of the hour, and we saw a gentleman just kind of walk up behind us, and he identified himself as Bob Mcdonough. Of course, wardens say he has dementia here, and he's been missing for the last 16 hours. So we, of course, will have much more on this tonight on News 8 at 6 and our website at WMTW.com. So we'll send it back to you on that happy note here from Wilmington.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this reaction video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all for the next one.